Welcome, friends. Now we'll discuss the Joule-Thomson effect. But before going to discuss the Joule-Thomson effect, let me revise the things. We have studied Maxwell's thermodynamical relations. For thermodynamical relations, we have derived, and those relations are derived from thermodynamic potentials. And we have made use of the perfect differential or exact differential condition to derive the Maxwell's thermodynamical relations. Now we'll discuss how these Maxwell's thermodynamical relations are helpful in understanding or explaining some thermodynamic concepts. So the first thermodynamical concept that we are going to discuss, which is based on these Maxwell's thermodynamical relations, or which can be understood with the help of Maxwell's thermodynamical relations that we are going to study now. Now, the Joule-Thomson effect is defined as when a gas under constant pressure is forced through insulated porous plug to a region of lower constant pressure, then its temperature changes. And this phenomenon is called as a Joule-Thomson effect. Means what is studied by Joule-Thomson? They have taken gas at a constant pressure, its initial pressure, initial volume, and initial temperature. And this gas is forced through a porous plug. And it is forced through to a region of lower pressure, and which is again constant pressure. Means the process is carried out very slowly. Then it is observed that the temperature on other side of the porous plug changes. This phenomenon is called as a Joule-Thomson effect. And actually the process is called as a throttling process, because the gas is passed or forced through the porous plug. It is called as a throttling process. And it is observed that the change in temperature is proportional to the pressure difference between the two sides of the plug. Means dt, if dt is the change in temperature, that is final temperature minus initial temperature, then it is proportional to the pressure difference between the two sides of the porous plug. Means final pressure minus initial pressure. Now it has been observed that at ordinary temperatures, all the gases except hydrogen and helium shows cooling effect. Means all gases, when they are passed through the porous plug, then they gets cooled. However, hydrogen and helium, they gets heated. Why hydrogen and helium they shows heating effect, that will explain at the end of this lecture. Now the Joule-Thomson effect can be understood with the help of this simple animation that I have made. Let us see the animation. Now let us see. This is a cylinder. It is an insulating cylinder, remember, because all this process is carried out uh, in such a way that neither heat is exchanged from system to the surrounding or from surrounding to the system. In short, it is an adiabatic process. The total heat energy of the system remains constant. And suppose this is the region A and this is the piston A, suppose. And if you force this piston by applying certain force, then you will observe that the gas molecules which are shown by this green color, they pass through this porous plug. And you will observe on the other side, the gas gets expanded. Volume of the gas is increasing. So Joule observed that when the gas is forced, actually the pressure we have to keep P1 as a constant. Then it is observed that the temperature of the gas is decreased in all gases except hydrogen, helium. So you will observe that suppose this x1 is the distance through which the piston is moved, and here on the other side, the x2 is the distance displacement of the piston on the other side of the porous plug. So I will call this as a piston B. I will call this as a piston A. Let P1, V1 and T1 be the initial pressure, volume, and temperature of gas respectively, and P2, V2, and T2 are the pressure, volume, and temperature of the gas on other side of the porous plate or after expansion of the gas. This is the very simple animation that can be used to understood the Joule-Thomson effect. So as usual, we have seen the pressure on left side is greater than pressure on the right side, and the temperature on right side of the porous plug will be lower than the temperature on the left side. That means the temperature will decrease, and the change in temperature is proportional to the change in pressure. So here we have to write this change in temperature is proportional to this change in pressure, somewhat like this. So this is the Joule-Thomson effect that can be stated and that can be observed. Now we'll derive an expression for the change in temperature with respect to change in pressure, and that can be derived. That expression can be obtained by using the thermodynamical relations and Maxwell's thermodynamic equations. So let us derive that. Let us consider 1 mole of gas and P1 V1 are the pressure and volume before passing the gas to the porous plug, and P2 V2 are the pressure and volume after passing the gas to the porous plug. Now suppose the piston A, that is piston on left side, is slowly moved inside so that the pressure remains constant and gas escapes through the porous plug, and obviously the piston B will be moved slowly outward to keep the pressure constant on other side of the porous plug, and that pressure is P2. Now let us assume that A is the area of cross section of the piston, and just I have explained x1 and x2 be the distances or displacements through which pistons A and B they are moved respectively. Now on the left side, the work is done on the gas because we have to apply certain force so that the gas molecules will be forced, they will be throttled through the porous plug. So work done by piston on the gas will be, obviously we know that work done is nothing but P1 into dV1, change in volume, and change in volume will be area of cross section into displacement AX1, so it will be P1 V1. And similarly, the work done by the gas on the piston B, because the work will be done by the gas on piston P. In region 1, the work is done on the gas. In the region 2, the work is done by the gas. So that work done will be P2 into A into X2. So it will be P2 into V2 as per definition. So we know that work done by the gas is positive, work done on the gas is negative. Hence, the total work done by the gas will be P2 V2 minus P1 V1. So that work done will be P2 V2 minus P1 V1. But we have to remember that this work is done at the expense of or at the cost of internal energy of the gas. Means we know that the internal energy consists of two parts, that is the kinetic energy and potential energy. Then this work done is at the cost of internal energy. Means there is a change in energy, and the change in energy is responsible for the work done. So if U1 and U2 are the internal energies of the gas before and after passing through the porous plug, using the first law of thermodynamics, we can write this as this U1 minus U2, that is change in internal energy, is equal to the work done. Just I have told you that the work is done at the cost of, or net work is done at the cost of net change in internal energy. So you can write U1 minus U2 is equal to P2 V2 minus P1 P1 V1. So you will get this as, after rearranging terms, U1 plus P1 V1 is equal to U2 plus P2 V2. But we know that, or we can write this as U plus PV is equal to constant. Means U plus PV will remain constant, that quantity will remain constant. But what is U plus PV? We have studied that U plus PV is nothing but the enthalpy H. It is the total heat content of the system, and it will remain constant during the throttling process. So this is important because in Joule-Thomson effect, there is a throttling process, And during this throttling process, the quantity U plus V, that means enthalpy of the system, remains constant. Means you can write this as dH is equal to 0, means enthalpy change is 0. Use the value of H, you will get differentiation. We have to differentiate U plus PV. Then after differentiation, you will get du plus PdV plus VdP is equal to 0. Plus, but du plus PdV is nothing but dq according to first law of thermodynamics, and according to second law of thermodynamics, dq is nothing but TdS. So we'll use in place of du plus PdV as TdS, and you will get this equation TdS plus VdP is equal to 0. After considering all this thermodynamic process or thermodynamic changes, we can write this TdS plus VdP is equal to 0. Now we have to obtain an expression for the how the temperature changes with respect to change in pressure. For that, let us assume that suppose entropy is function of temperature and pressure. We know that any thermodynamical quantity is function of other thermodynamical quantities. Like that, S is a function of temperature and pressure. And if S is function of temperature and pressure, using the law of differentiation, we can write this as ds is equal to delta S by delta T at constant pressure into dt plus delta S by delta P into T at constant dP. So if you use the value of ds in equation 1, that is T ds plus VdP is equal to 0, then we have to write here T into, you can write the value here as value of ds from our equation plus VdP is equal to 0, and multiply by T to these two terms, you will get this T into delta S by delta T at P constant P into dt plus T into delta S by delta P at constant T into dP plus VdP is equal to 0. Now let us consider this term. In this term, T into delta S is nothing but delta Q according to second law of thermodynamics. So it will give you delta Q by delta T at constant P. But this is nothing but the specific heat of 1 mole of a gas, because we have taken 1 mole of the gas. So delta Q by delta T at constant P is nothing but specific heat at constant pressure. And we can use Maxwell's relation. Actually, it is a Maxwell's fourth relation, which is derived from the thermodynamic potential, that is Gibbs free energy, and that thermodynamical relation is delta V by delta T at constant P is equal to minus delta S by delta P at constant T. The meaning is that the variation of entropy with respect to pressure at constant temperature is nothing but negative variation of volume with respect to temperature at constant pressure. So we will use these two terms in equation 2, so that you will get equation as Cp dt minus T into delta V by delta T at constant pressure into dP plus Vdp is equal to 0. Or you can write Cp dt is equal to, take this to right side. So you will get T into delta V by delta T at constant P minus V and dP as this common. Or you can write this as dt divided by dP, which we are interested in, because we know that the change in temperature is proportional to change in pressure in Joule-Thomson effect. So you can write dt divided by dt is equal to dt divided by dP is equal to T into bracket delta V by delta T at constant P minus V divided by Cp. This is the expression that gives mathematical equation to study the Joule-Thomson effect. So here you will observe that dt is proportional to dP, but you have to remember that dP is negative because final pressure minus initial pressure will be negative. Final pressure is lower than initial pressure, and that's why dP is negative. So this is the equation for Joule-Thomson effect. Now we have to interpret this equation. We have to analyze this equation for ideal gas and for real gas, because we know that we know the equation of state of real gas. We also know the equation of state of ideal gas. So first of all, let us see how this equation is applied to the ideal gas. So let us consider first case of the ideal gas. We know that for ideal gas having 1 mole, you can write PV is equal to RT. So differentiate V with respect to T, you will get delta V by delta T by keeping pressure as constant. This is equal to R divided by P. Use this value of delta V by delta T at P. In this Joule-Thomson effect, you will get dt divided by dp is equal to T into R by P minus V. So if you again use PV is equal to RT equation, you will get this quantity is nothing but V. From this equation, you will get T into R divided by P is nothing but V. So this V minus V divided by Cp. So dt by dt is equal to dp is equal to 0. That means for ideal gas, Joule-Thomson effect is 0. That means no change in temperature will be observed in case of ideal gas. Means Joule-Thomson effect is not observed in ideal gas. So this is the case for the ideal gas. Now let us see the case of the real gas. For a real gas, we know that the equation of state is given by van der Waals equation, and that van der Waals equation is P plus A divided by V square into V minus B is equal to RT, where A and B are van der Waals constant. This is also for 1 mole of gas. Differentiate this equation with respect to T by keeping pressure constant. So that will give you, if you differentiate this equation, you will we will get this as P plus A by V square into delta V by delta T at constant P minus 2A divided by V cube delta V by delta T at constant P into V minus B is equal to R. Now take the common delta V by delta T at constant P from this equation, or from the left hand side. You will get this as delta V by delta T at constant P into bracket P plus A by V square minus 2A divided by V cube into this V minus B is equal to R. Or we can write this as delta V by delta T at constant P is equal to, take this square bracketed term to the RHS, so it will come into the denominator. And you will get this as delta V by delta T at constant P is equal to this R divided by, now P plus A divided by V square, this is nothing but RT divided by V. If you take right this P plus A by V square, it will be RT divided by V minus B. So use here RT divided by V minus B instead of P plus A by V square minus 2A divided by V cube into V minus B. So now I can take this V minus B as LCM of these two terms, and so that I can write this as RT. So this will be V minus B, it will come to numerator. So R into V minus B whole divided by RT minus 2A divided by V cube into this will be V minus B square. And now multiply both sides of this equation by T, you will get T into delta V by delta T at constant P is equal to RT into V minus B divided by RT minus 2A divided by V cube V minus B bracket square. Now here we'll do some approximation. And what is that approximation? Approximation is that B is the van der Waals constant related to the volume, and that value is very, very small. B is in the fraction. So it is very small. Hence, we can consider B is very, very small as compared to total volume of the gas, so that we can approximately take V minus B bracket square is nearly equal to V square. And using this approximation, we can write above equation as T into delta V by delta T at constant P is equal to RT into V minus B divided by RT minus this V minus B will be V square, this V cube will get cancelled, and only you will get this 2A divided by V, so that you can write RT is equal to, we can write this equal to RT into V minus B. Take RT common from this term, you will get RT into bracket 1 minus 2A divided by R into T into V, or this RT will get cancelled, and you will get T into delta V by delta T at constant P is equal to V minus B divided by 1 minus 2A divided by R into T into V. Now, taking that denominator term into the numerator, you can write this as T into delta V by delta T at constant P is equal to V minus B into bracket 1 minus 2A divided by R into T into V raised to minus 1. So this term can be expanded using this equation 1 minus x raised to minus 1. which is 1 plus x square plus x cube and so on. So here x is equal to 2a divided by r into t into v. You will get this t into delta v by delta t at constant p approximately equal to v minus b into bracket. This is approximation. We have taken approximation. Only we have taken first term. Higher order terms, they are very small, hence they are neglected. So you will get approximately equal to v minus b into 1 plus 2a divided by r into t into v. So this is nearly equal to, if you multiply by this v minus b inside these two terms, it will be v minus b plus. So v minus p is again nearly equal to v, so that v will get cancelled, and you will get final term as 2a divided by rt. So you will get the equation as t into delta v by delta t at constant p minus v is equal to 2a divided by rt minus b. That equation, that approximation you will get for the real gas. And this quantity t minus t into delta v by delta t at constant p minus v can be used in Joule-Thomson equation, so that you will get dt divided by dp is equal to ra divided 2a divided by rt minus b divided by cp. So this is approximate equation for real gas, Joule-Thomson effect for real gas. Now this equation can also be interpreted, because for ideal gas, Joule-Thomson effect is not for ideal gas, Joule-Thomson effect is not observed. For real gas, it is observed. And now we will interpret how the cooling and heating or at what condition the cooling or heating take place. So let us consider the equation as dt divided by dp is equal to 2a divided by rt minus b divided by cp. This is the Joule-Thomson effect for real gas. Let us consider first case as, suppose 2a divided by rt is greater than b. Now this is very important. The interpretation of the equation is very important. That means the t is less than 2a divided by rb, or you can write this as 2a divided by rb. You can write this as 2a divided by rb is greater than t. Like that, you can write this. Now, if this is the case, then what will happen? If this 2a divided by rt is greater than, means this term will be positive. The numerator term will be positive. Numerator term will be positive means right hand side will be positive. But we know that dp is negative. Pressure on other side of the porous plug is lower than the pressure on the side from which we are throttling the gas. So if that term, since dp is negative, obviously dt will be negative. Since dp is negative, change in pressure is negative, obviously dt will be negative. Dt will be negative means this final temperature minus initial temperature, this will be negative. And this indicates that T2 will be less than T1. That means cooling effect will be absent. So gas will be cooled on passing through the porous plug under this condition. This condition is very important. So let us consider second case. Suppose if 2a divided by RT is less than B, means this T is greater than 2a divided by RB. That means 2a divided by this RB, 2a divided by this RB is less than T. Is less than T. Means this numerator term 2a divided by RT minus B will be negative. But dP is negative. So these two terms are negative. That means dt will be positive. And dt will be positive means final temperature minus initial temperature will be positive. That means T2 will be greater than T1. That means temperature of the gas will be increased. Heating effect will be observed after passing the gas through the porous plug. So this quantity 2a divided by RB is very important. A is the van der Waals constant, B is the van der Waals constant, remember. And if this 2a divided by RT is equal to B, then RHS will be 0 and DT will be 0, means no change in temperature will be observed. So this temperature is called as temperature of inversion. Means there is a particular temperature. If you have a temperature above that particular temperature, then you will observe the heating effect. If it is less than that particular temperature, you will observe the cooling. So like that, this quantity 2A divided by RB is very important. It is called as the temperature of inversion. Now we can define the temperature of inversion as Ti. We can denote it by Ti, and Ti is nothing but 2A divided by RB. Now let us see, or we know that there are critical values of a gas, critical temperature, critical pressure, critical volume, and there is a critical temperature above which gas cannot be liquefied. That particular temperature is called as the critical temperature, and its value is given as 80 divided by 27 RB. So if you try to write the equation for temperature of inversion in terms of critical temperature, so we can write Ti is equal to 27 by 4 into 80 divided by 27 RB, so that you will get this as 27 by 4 into this Tc, because 80 divided by 27 RB is nothing but critical temperature. So this value comes 6.75. So you can write inversion temperature, or temperature of inversion, is equal to 6.75 times the critical temperature. So that is the relation between critical temperature and temperature of inversion. Like that, likewise, we can explain how the when the gas will get cooled, or when gas will be heated. That can be explained mathematically also. Now, for most of the gases, temperature of inversion is greater than ordinary temperature. Just we have seen that. And if the temperature of inversion is greater than ordinary temperature, then cooling effect is observed, that we have discussed. For helium and hydrogen, temperature of inversion is much below the ordinary temperature. Hence, they shows the heating effect at ordinary temperatures. But if the hydrogen, for the hydrogen, temperature of inversion is minus 80 degree centigrade, that is 193 degree Kelvin, at about 100 atmosphere pressure. If this hydrogen is cooled below minus 80 degree centigrade or 193 degree Kelvin, and if it is passed through the porous plug, then it will show the cooling effect. Means hydrogen can also show the cooling effect, but its ordinary temperature should be reduced to minus 80 degree centigrade or 193 degree Kelvin. Then it will show the cooling effect. For helium, the temperature of inversion is 35 degree Kelvin, and if it is cooled below, if it is forced below through the porous plug below 35 degree centigrade, 35 degree Kelvin, it will show the cooling effect. Otherwise, at ordinary temperature, it shows the heating effect. So in this way, the Joule-Thomson effect is very important phenomenon, thermodynamic phenomenon, which is used for cooling the gas. And remember, dear friends, the Joule-Thomson effect is used in refrigeration, in AC that we use in our houses. So there are very interesting applications of this Joule-Thomson effect for cooling the gas. Thank you for watching this lecture.